Actually, when it comes to issues of same-sex relations, homosexuality, any of those things, well, firstly, the Bible gives us what is the only God-ordained way for sexuality. God created man and woman. He created male and female, both in His image, and He said that they were to leave and cleave and to become one flesh. It is God who actually ordained marriage. And so there is where we get the definition of marriage. And actually, when Jesus was asked about marriage in Matthew 19, He said, "Have you not read to the Jews that God made male and female, and he got them to leave and cleave and become one flesh?" He was actually giving them a definition of marriage and saying, if you want to know the definition, you've got to go back to Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 to understand that, because you need to go to the definition from the one who created marriage. And so God is the creator of marriage. That's where we get the definition of marriage, not from the law courts, not from popularity, not from people's opinions, and not from lobby groups. It's from the creator, from the author of marriage, who is God. With many of the studies about, isn't homosexuality natural? Isn't it normal? And we hear those words a lot. It is natural and normal. In fact, if it's natural and normal, it should be moral. And if it's moral, it should be legal. And if it's legal, it should be actually a civil right. And you see that progression of argument going through society. But what makes something natural? Well, it's natural because of its origins. And so if we want to understand what natural is, the evolutionist would say, and the secularist who is standing up for something like homosexual relations would say, if I believe that I see homosexual activity within the animal kingdom and I am just an animal, then it's natural for the animal kingdom, then it's natural and normal for me, and then the progression starts. And actually, in a lot of the born gay studies, on a lot of those, on a lot of the arguments that we've seen even in the law courts, and we saw it even in the law court in Texas in the United States, that was the first state to actually legalize homosexuality, that it was that exact argument used. There is an evolutionary connection to the argument for the normality and natural aspect of homosexuality, where in fact what we do understand about what is normal and natural comes from God's word. In Romans chapter 1, we read from the Apostle Paul that we exchanged what is natural for what is unnatural relations, and he's talking about homosexual relations there. Why is that unnatural? Because we again go back to origins. Paul's talking about Genesis, and he's saying what is natural goes back to our origins, and God created one man for one woman for them to leave and cleave and to become one flesh. What is natural is the heterosexual union of man and woman in marriage, and outside of that, any other type of sexuality is not the natural way that God created it.